you want to be my friend, you would better go and get a pen.
Where do you keep them?
Maybe we could keep in touch.
Probably in that miscellaneous drawer in your kitchen that's always filled with shit. Staplers you don't use, extra staples, push pins, pins. A lot of them are out of ink and you just couldn't throw them away because you're like, are you supposed to throw a pin away? Do you throw a pin away?
This is a church move.
Comedian Roger Mercer, I think is his name. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. DC comic had a bit.
R.D. Mercer?
I want to get rid of my pillow. Do you throw a pillow away? And I was like, even just as a philosophical question, not even a bit, how do you get rid of a pillow? Always loved it.
Of course you throw it away.
Loved it. He was always like, I want to buy a new pillow. He goes, when do you buy a new pillow? Is that when you commit to a pillow? What do you do, throw a pillow away? Anyways,
so.
folks, you're watching and listening. You're listening first to the Pen Pals podcast with Daniel Van Kirk and me, Rory Scovel.
How are you, Rory?
You know I'm good. Folks, I know we usually do this in the middle, but if you aren't watching
do it whenever you want.
we're deep in it. So you got to get on board. Watch season 1, and we're about 3 or 4 episodes, I think, now
3
into season 2, and it's getting spicy. So if you like spice and spices, get on board.
Will you see Sandy Patowski again? Maybe.
Can I give an update knowing when is what? And as we do this, it is not the day that this drops. Could you imagine if someone still thinks that?
What do you mean?
I just want to give an update that by the time people hear this, who knows, maybe they've already seen it. But I wanted everyone to know I have finally taken the steps towards improving my website. I'm talking to someone.
Oh, my
We're
gosh.
dating, if you will. And figuring out how to make the website a lot better. So who knows? There's a chance that by the time you hear this, we go, we already fucking saw the website. We see that's updated. But if you're hearing this, just know those steps were just taken.
It won't be ready by then.
I don't think so either. But he's pretty good.
What's your web address?
RoryScovel.com.
You got it?
Well, I've always had it. You think I'm just starting?
Is there another Rory Scovel?
I don't think so.
There's a few Daniel Van Kirks.
Is there really? Have you ever made contact?
No.
Because you can't occupy the same space at the same time because of time cop.
Obvious.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a Dan Van Kirk on Twitter who
Okay.
gets followers and doesn't tell anybody. But also, like, look at the pic.
But you're also like, take those followers.
And then there's a few...
That's quite literally someone who's like, I am a follower. I'm not even going to question who's leading.
Right.
I just want to follow.
Right. Have
And you know who I love? Comedian, actor, writer, Daniel Van Kirk. And so I'm following a guy who
lives in
doesn't
North
even
Carolina
look slightly like him
at all?
Lives in a place that has never been mentioned.
No.
And doesn't ever post anything relevant to the product
Probably
that
hasn't posted
attracted
in
me
years.
to Daniel Van
Right.
Kirk. You know what I like is that Daniel's secret Twitter page talks about his family and kids in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I wonder if there's imposter
I wonder if they think
accounts
they're
of
onto
you.
something. They think they're onto. They're like, I think this is the Secrets podcast.
There isn't. Do you have burner accounts?
There's one person on.
No, but you don't have a burner account.
Oh, I don't have them. No.
No.
There is one person on Insta. I feel like that's complimentary. That's like, where you have a burner account? I'm like, I'm not smart enough to live that world, live
not
that
either.
life.
I
But
don't
there
have
is
the
someone on
energy for it.
Instagram who made, and you see this all the time popping up.
Fake you.
A fake you, and like reaching out to people. And I sent that to Instagram. And they were like, this doesn't actually impose on any of our rules. I was like, someone pretending to be me to get other people to give them money is like
Right.
okay to you?
Right.
And they were like, this doesn't violate any of our things. And it's like,
Does it make you ever want
so
to
fucking
ask
stupid.
people for money and then just be like, it's not even...
And just see if I get it.
Yeah, and then be like, guys, I got hacked again.
Guys, I got hacked again.
I'm-
But I do want to
I'm
say
in
thank
Hawaii.
you for the money. Guys, I don't know how this happened. I'm in Hawaii and I got hacked again.
Again.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we're going to close on this property. It looks pretty dope. But we got to get on the jet and get back to L.A. That's how much money I was able to scam people for.
If it's June 22nd, it's officially summer, right?
When does summer start? And don't you always think it's too
summer
late?
solstice.
But shouldn't it just be like mid-May?
Well,
Doesn't it feel
that's
like
around
that?
closer to the spring equinox.
Do you think like other places would agree to mid-May, or is it still kind of like other places like, nah, it's not summer
June
yet.
1st.
California, it's
is
hard to tell
summer
because
to
it's
me.
kind of just always summer.
Yeah, but we get June gloom, and then we get...
I love June gloom.
You do?
Yeah,
We're in a little bit of it
overcast.
already.
I love it.
June 1st is the start of summer.
officially.
Right? What's the last day of summer? September 1st?
Is it September 21st?
Well, now you're talking actual lunar shit, which of course you are.
Well, it's forced into my psyche because of my wife, my witch wife.
But you don't. But I just feel like it's September 1st or Labor Day. Is Labor Day the last day of summer? But you're right because
Lissa, any
here,
thoughts?
Here we get 6 more weeks easy.
Oh yeah, well we get more than that.
I know, but
it's nonstop.
But it's definite summer, like till October.
Yeah. Should we do this?
Yeah.
Should we dive in?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the letters. We are gonna get a jingle that follows that. Not the one we have. No, we're gonna step it up. Things are gonna change. We're gonna get a jingle.
What do you want it to be? A riff?
I want it to be the Chicago Bulls and we get sued. That's what I want.
We'll take the press.
Yeah. Any press is good press. Unless you have murdered people,
You're not even
went
here.
to jail, it was a high-profile trial, and
Rory,
then you're trying to get a job, then any press isn't good press.
You haven't even come back yet.
Hey!
Lissa's going to love editing that.
Well, eventually she's going to be able to just do a full-on Pixar movie, having to work this into something.
Did you go? You doesn't even look like you went.
Folks, we chatted today. Daniel and I got big plans for this space right here, so don't sleep on those Friday YouTube videos.
If you do it, it'll make me happier than you'll ever know.
Oh, I'm going to start looking into it today.
Okay.
I'm going to go first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, you know what? You should.
Really?
I think you should. I feel like there's a namesake that's shared, and I feel like that's nice. That never
Okay.
and also that will never happen for me, I don't think.
Dear Danimal and Roarbor.
Don't love it, don't hate it. I'll take
I accept
Roarbor.
it.
People call me Roarbor. I call myself Roarbor.
I think it was in high school the first person someone called me Danimal.
Really?
Like, yeah.
And they were like, if this sticks, this will inform him of his personality through college. Because who's that? That's Daniel Van Kirk, or as we like to call him, the Danimal. And it's like, all right, well, he's definitely going to die of alcoholism.
Yeah,
he's an alcoholic for
in
sure.
a pool.
He will die. He will die young.
Yeah, not drowning. He'll be on a raft, dead in a pool.
And people go, that's how he found him. We go, he was always the Danimal.
Do you ever notice people who
He
do
died
that?
doing what he loved, Molly in a swimming pool.
They always talk about people who like burn too bright, die too young.
Yeah.
There's always somebody who's like, and we went till 5 a.m. I get up at 7:30. I hear a noise outside. There he is out in the pool, ready to go again. It's like, yeah, of course they died.
Yeah.
You always go start John Belushi, Farley, Warren Moon, or not Warren.
Warren Moon.
What's his name? Keith Moon.
Warren Moon.
Keith Moon. Warren Moon. Warren Moon. He might be Rage. What do I know? Keith Moon. Okay.
Warren Moon raging. Just that category. John Belushi, Chris Farley, Warren Moon.
Sailor Moon.
Pat Sajak. Like, what is this list?
Have you ever met Pat Sajak?
No. But
What if-
hello, bucket list.
What if we got Pat Sajak?
I'll try.
Is he canceled?
I'll try. Is he canceled? I think he always says stuff where people are like, come on. But
Pat
because Chuck Woolery
Woolery.
is so... Everyone's like, Pat's not a Chuck. Pat's not a Chuck.
Okay. Dear Danimal and Roar. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Is DVK a nickname?
For me, no.
Me
I
either.
I don't call it. I don't like that.
Do you have a nickname? Oh, like
No, I mean, the people say Roarbor, roars. Rose says roars, which
Yeah,
is
she
a
does.
very Australian thing.
Yeah.
Roars.
I guess I call you Roar sometimes.
Roar.
But that doesn't feel like a nickname. It's just a
Roscoe.
shortening. It's an abbreviation.
Rojosco. Roscoe.
Really?
Yeah. Well, my name's Rory Scovel. Roscoe.
I've
It's right
never
there.
thought of that in my life because there's not an S in your first name. Dear Danimal and Roarbor, love the pod, love your work, love my 2 favorite cackling idiots, and I hope you're well. I've been swell as well until recently.
Here we go.
I looked at the COVID.
This is what we call a turn in the letter.
I looked at the COVID data in my area, which showed a slight uptick in cases, but certainly not a surge, and less than 200 deaths from COVID nationwide as of yesterday. When is what? Whenever I go to the store, I'd say about 1 out of 10 people are wearing a mask, me being one of them. It's like the rest of the world has forgotten about COVID. Not everyone forgot about the virus, though. In fact, These people make videos of how awful it is and upload it to social media. Meanwhile, my wife is always watching these stories about long COVID, hepatitis in children, new variants of concern, etc. This messaging has intensified her fear of getting COVID to a degree where I can't meet up with anyone unless we do rapid COVID tests and always wear masks all parties. This has severely limited our interactions with my family and friends, most of who live 300 miles away. Our latest planned trip to visit my parents is shaping up to be a real disaster.
Not how they wrote it, but I gotta like
the
liberties you
Thanks.
took with that delivery.
Real disaster. I would move heaven and earth to please my wife, which I've done for the last 2 years. But when is enough enough? Sincerely, your pen pal, Dan. I did not write this.
You did.
I didn't.
Just admit it. Danimal. You always wanted to be called
That'll
that.
throw him off.
That'll throw him off.
Why would I call myself that?
Rager Danimal. Danimal and Rager Roar. First off,
Come on, Rory.
I gotta say, I get this. I get this 100%.
What do you mean? What
and
part
I think
of
a lot
it
people
do you?
get it.
What do you get?
But all sides of it. I
Really?
think most people understand all sides of this because we went deep very early on into the pandemic in terms of our level of concern and our level of safety. And there were moments where I was like, are we kind of overdoing it a little bit? Are we a little too scared? And I don't think that there is any harm in finding yourself in these moments or these phases of maybe being a little too concerned or being a little too safe. I don't think that's a bad thing.
But you're talking about two different times.
Yes, I am. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I do think, for me personally,
Sure.
I would rather err on the side of being someone that was way too cautious and maybe looked like a lunatic than someone who was not cautious in any way and maybe handled something a little too dangerously.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd rather. I know that's who I am.
Sure.
Is the first person. But I will say, everyone is on a different path right now with with COVID and where a pandemic of 2.5 years has taken our lives and who we are and who we've learned who we are and how we handle information that we receive. And I don't know if there's some kind of advice that I can give to ease this because
When is
other
enough?
than I think for us, we slowly stepped away from as much of the fear as we possibly could. You know, you guys, fans of this show, have watched Daniel, I, and Lissa, and now Chad slowly be in this space doing this. You know, we were very cautious before. When you look back and you go, I bet we were probably fine to have been in the same space, but we took precaution. Now, the reason that we're like this, the reason we have guests come in, is because the data currently shows that it's somewhat unlikely that something would happen. It doesn't mean it can't. Daniel had COVID. It happens. It happens. It happens. It's also at a time when a lot of people are getting COVID. I have close friends, especially in stand-up. Daniel and I went and did the Moon Tower Comedy Festival. That is probably the most text I've ever gotten in my life of someone saying, hey, I just got home, tested positive, letting you know because I talked face-to-face with you at an after party where no one was wearing a mask, you know?
I had it before then, so I felt so great about or less worried. But I think that's the thing is, you know, fear is traditionally the unknown, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we spent a time where we didn't know anything. What's going to happen if you COVID? I don't know. Yeah. How can you get it? Not really sure. What is the likelihood you're going to get it? No idea, right? My goal was to the biggest issue we had was the overwhelming of our medical staff in our cities and towns and country and the hospitals and beds being taken up and too many ventilators being used and an overwhelming, right? So my job is to, even though I am a healthy person who had zero symptoms even when I eventually did get COVID, my job is to not be one of these people that needs to go up and take one of these beds or take the time of any medical person on any level. So I was very precautious. And my goal was to hopefully make it until
And you'd hate to be someone who did take a bed or a ventilator, and you look back and you go, well, it's because I wasn't cautious.
My goal was like, at least try to not get this until there is a treatment for it, so that the people that you may have given it to have a greater likelihood of being fine. And also, I remember we talked about not doing stand-up. I didn't want to do stand-up because guy A and guy B come to my show, and guy A gets COVID and gives it to guy B, and guy B goes and gives it to his grandma, and his grandma passes away. I didn't want that on me. But then I reached a point where I go, okay, well, now we've had a vaccine and multiple boosters.
Options.
And we have a treatment. And we know that we have contagious strains that also have decreased severity to them. So if you come to a show and you never got vaxxed, that is not my fault.
Right.
Because I'm doing a show after all these things have happened.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like, when is enough enough? I think when you have measured risk with anything.
I think all fears of all of this are there. It's valid. There's obviously validity to people experiencing a fear.
Sure.
I do have to say, for me, the question of enough is enough. I think you have to reach a point when you decide, do I want to continually reach out to information that is maybe maybe over dramatized? Like a lot of these people that are making these stories.
When you let exceptions prove your rule.
Decide, how much are you going to take? What data are you seeking out to know? For instance, and like I said, when is what? But 200 deaths from COVID nationwide as of yesterday. Let's say that's today when people are hearing this. 200 deaths from COVID nationwide as of yesterday. That gives me a lot of confidence. I don't want those 200 people to die. I don't want anybody dying from COVID. I don't want anyone even contracting COVID.
Agreed.
But I have to look at that data, and that informs me, I'm speaking personally, that informs me of how I'm going to compose myself out in public. If you say we are currently at 150,000 people dying a day, I'm probably not leaving my house. And if I am masked up in an extreme way, because I'm saying, wow, that is a lot of deaths that definitely is occurring in people who are vaccinated, because that is a crazy high number. But the data that I'm going off of is how many people are currently becoming infected with COVID. What are the effects that COVID is having on those people? I certainly don't want to be someone who contracts it and then still gives it to someone who maybe will be immunocompromised. That would crush me. I don't want to be that person. So there's this fine line of going, well, what do I think is safe living, sane, safe living for myself and for my family? And I think that's why I go back to saying there really isn't some kind of right or wrong answer. I would say the only thing you can do is pay close attention to where you're getting your information, because if it is sensationalized in any way, that might be feeding a fear that isn't necessary. It also might be feeding a complacency that isn't justified either. I think you have to look at data and decide what's best for you. You have to look at your area. You have to go, well, what are the odds? How can we behave? Like when I fly, probably for the rest of my life, I will wear a mask. I'll probably have a mask on 10 years from now, because I now realize, the benefit of these masks is maybe who's ever sitting next to me, I don't have to get their cold. I don't even want their cold. But, if someone said, if tonight you said we're going to a restaurant and it's inside, I can only get an inside table, I would then go, all right, well, I don't sit here and just boldly go to that restaurant. I probably go, all right, well, let me just kind of see where we're at numbers-wise and what I think, I don't want to get something at this restaurant with Daniel and then bring it home to my family, or then maybe pass it on to, like I said, someone who might be immunocompromised. I think.
Okay, but I think
there's actions you can take for your own sanity based on the data you're receiving. I would say don't allow sensationalized information to drive a fear that isn't justified. I became more relaxed before Jordan did, and I just told her, I was like, at some point we have to decide when things will become.
Well, I think that's the bigger question. What about when you're in a partnership and that person's like, you are not going to a restaurant with Daniel?
Yeah, I think
it's
tough. I think it's tough. There isn't some kind of overall solution. Like when you say she's watching videos and watching people's stories, that makes me think you're watching social media and Instagram. And I will say, while that can be a source of information, I would say it's so unlikely almost all the time that it's information that has been sourced appropriately and actually quoted appropriately. People people know that sensationalism is what gets clicks on foxnews.com. It's what gets clicks on CNN.com. It's what gets clicks on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. The sensationalism is what gets people clicks to go, look how many things my video got. And then someone goes, yeah, but don't you care about the integrity of the video and the fact that what you're giving is false information? They go, no, look how many clicks I got. So you have to go, am I a person who's just providing clicks to something that isn't accurate information? And do I actually kind of, people seek out tragedy. There's a reason why people go, you can't stop looking at a train wreck. It isn't because you're a bad person. There's something in the human mind that makes you look at and see death. There's something that makes you look at and see something that isn't great. Like, there's a lot of things you can easily look away from. But there's a lot of stuff that you look at because you know what I'm looking at is the inevitable for all of us. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the human brain, for everybody, for most people, can't look away from that. And this is not necessarily any different from that. I don't think.
I guess for me, it's just, I don't know at what point do you tell your partner, this is how I live my life and you're living yours.
It's definitely an F2F that is difficult because, like he said, it's not like he's sitting there going, hey, our personalities are in different places and we don't get along. It's like one person is experiencing extreme fear of the effects of COVID and the likelihood of contracting it. Mm-hmm. And the other person is saying, I think that we're probably going to be okay.
Right.
And I don't know, but it is an intense conversation. And I think you have to sit down and go, hey, when we got married, we didn't expect that we'd have to have a conversation about how we both feel about a pandemic, but that is life. And so here we are I would like to believe at a different phase of the pandemic that's maybe a little bit more relaxed, but I've had to have conversations with Jordan and how we both feel and what we think is okay. And we've gotten to that point, and we've still had issues where we carelessly put ourselves in a position where we could have gotten it. But we both look at it and we go, what is the likelihood that we would get it and have a severe reaction? What is the likelihood that we would get it? What is the, we think about all that
stuff. Is there a treatment? Have we had our boosters?
Exactly. Have we been responsible about putting something in our body that can help counteract against an infection? And I think that we have, but
the other wrinkle for us,
the reality of going out and possibly contracting COVID, and I'm not minimizing it, but contracting COVID and deciding, well, I want to do this things, I want to take these precautions. You have to. Would you do that with your whole life? Would you look at everything in your life and go, well, the odds of getting into a car accident, the odds of getting onto a plane and doing these things? I don't want to say like, hey, so go live carelessly. Take precaution, but also look at the data. The reason you and I go fly to our shows, oh God, I got to knock on wood. The reason you and I fly to our shows is because you do look at the likelihood of the plane making it to the place you're going to.
Which is
great. If they said 9 out of 10 planes don't make it, Daniel and I would not be internationally performing stand-up comedians. Right. We would be maybe regional comics, or we're national comics who are willing to buy an RV. That is who we would be. But that is based on realistic data. But you still get on a plane and you don't know. And I think...
But I think the other wrinkle for us, at least right now, is the testing. Like, where they're like, well, we're testing for it. So if you have it, like, you're not going to work. You just lost work for a week. Or you inconvenienced a lot of other people if we can't do the work without you.
Yeah.
And what is what is definitely going to happen is they're going to stop testing for it. And it's going to be a deal where, hey, if you don't feel well, don't come in.
Yeah.
And right now,
people still do that.
And people go, where were you last week? They're like, oh, I had strep. And they're like, oh my gosh, really? If they tested for strep, you'd get sent home from set. Because they go, you have strep. Yeah. You're going to give everybody else your strep. We can't have that happen. Right. So the wrinkle for us too right now is like, I can't test positive. Yeah. Even if everything's fine. I have 0 symptoms like I did, right? Everything's fine. It's going to screw up work for me or a thing I'm supposed to go to, an event or whatever it is. So that is like another. So you have to measure that risk as well. Like, well, I got a test in 2 days. So should I go do this thing? But eventually that's going to be removed.
Yeah.
I've said this before. This is how I feel. I hope that things only get better. But being out as much as I've been out, like doing my runs and stuff like that, it's over. It's over. It's never
the feeling of it.
It's never gonna end.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be here.
Yeah.
But it's over. And I think if you're in a partnership where you're like, hey, I'd love to go meet up with this person for even outdoor coffee or an indoor hot dog, whatever it is. I know. And
why were those? That's
and your person
an outdoor coffee and an indoor hot dog. You're listening to Daniel Van Kirk's
and your
personal
partner,
diary.
Your partner says, "No, look at this video I just saw of this 7-year-old in Iowa." I'd be like, "Yeah, but I mean, what? I can find you video.
You
like,
have
it's
to.
like,
You
I
have
can't
to
let an
make a
exception
choice.
prove a rule. The partnership thing to me,
Yes.
that's
what I
like
would
the
say.
whole
I would
crux
ju-
of this, and I know we got to run on
Yeah,
it.
we got my personal wording is I wouldn't look at it and say this is over, but I do know what you mean by that because internally I have that feel. I mean, look at us in Moon Tower.
Right.
Daniel and I are getting a drink at a hotel before the night starts, and there isn't a single part of us that has even the slightest shred of belief that we would contract COVID sitting at this place having a drink. And we're spread out, but there wasn't even the slightest bit of fear. I would say, for me personally and out of respect for others, I don't look at it and say that it's over, but I do look at it and say we are in a different phase where you said, I hope it does get better. You do have to become a person who goes, well, data-wise, it is better.
Right, and they're only going to get a better treatment. You're going to be handed a little pack of pills
and also
and go take
keep in
these
mind,
for 4 days.
every time there's a new variant, think about who is telling you about the variant and the information, because I absorb news from a lot of different sources as well.
Sure.
And it's
You got a
very
lot of
clear the
newsletters.
ones that want to say, this is what's happening and you're gonna die. And then there's others that are going, there is a new variant, here's the facts about that variant. And then you make decisions based on that information that you're getting. But
Can I say a last side
the
thing you made me think of?
the flu is currently not over.
No, it's raging
And
right
it
now.
will never be over.
No.
It will
That's what I'm
never be
saying.
over. But it is something that you leave your house and you go and you interact in the world and well, the odds of me getting the flu are not, 0.
Right.
There is some percentage that I could get it, but that's just me being careful. If Daniel says, I just found out I had the flu 2 days ago, do you want to go get an indoor hot dog? I'm going to go, I don't think that's the smartest move, but maybe an outdoor coffee.
Can I ask you the last thing?
Why did I feel the need to get back to that?
Because you get it. Last thing, and this is where I'll just say about stories and news and everything, like making you really
They're dangerous.
scaring you,
Yeah.
and keeping you like curtailing your attitudes and your actions. What time do your flight is at 3:00? What time do you get to the airport?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
What
Flight's
time's
at
it
3.
boarding?
Flight's at 3.
Board's at 2:15?
Board's at 2:30, and you are checking a bag.
Oh, I probably park at 1:45.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you listen to the news, especially right
That's
now,
because I got that TSA pre-check.
I got that clear, baby.
You get it.
If you listen to the news right now, they'll tell you
Yeah.
you better get there 3 hours before your flight.
Yeah.
Coming up after the break, we're going to talk to you about what is happening at our airports and why. If you're traveling, you better think twice about it, right?
Exactly.
And it's all BS.
Yeah.
But they know that millions and millions of people, especially this summer, are going to fly.
Yeah.
Or they're thinking about flying, or they have to take someone to the airport.
You and I see this all the time. I know you do. You're connecting, or you've just landed,
Yeah.
and you see a couple sit down at a gate
Yeah.
with 300 empty chairs around.
Uh-huh.
The people aren't even there. The plane is not even there, and they're sitting there and they're like, we're ready for the flight.
Yeah.
We made it. And you're almost going to be like, what time's the flight? And they're like, 2.5 hours from now.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
I know.
What in the world?
I know. But there's people that see, like I see it out of Midway all the time, right? Where they're like, you won't believe how long the TSA pre-check was, or even the TSA was yesterday. And then I fly out the next day. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
The only airport you need to worry about that, you and I could tell people this stuff, Denver.
Yeah.
Because every single gate runs through one TSA. I don't care where you're flying or what gate you have. And so that is crazy there,
Yeah.
right? But it is a thing to a much lesser level than a pandemic and true like health scares, that they just know, like, well, we can get you riled up and scared with this.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is,
But they know
I'm
you'll
just gonna
keep
tell
watching.
everybody, and I'm adjust for
Yeah.
children, okay?
Yeah.
But your flight's boards at 2:30. You don't, even if you don't have TSA pre-check, you don't need to be there until
If
1:15.
your news-
And 1:15 is plenty.
If your news said, coming up after the break, not really a lot going on, but we fill the time, you're going to change the channel.
Right.
But if they go, you're not going to want to miss this because people are dying. You're going to go, wait, from
Well,
what? I guess I got to watch these ads.
What's in your house that could kill you tonight at 11?
Exactly. So just, I don't know. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yes.
Measure the salt.
Okay.
All right. Dan!
Thanks so much, Dan.
Go F2F. That's our advice.
Yeah, that's the thing there. I don't...
F2F. You got to do it. And you got to do it sooner than later. Have a real conversation. Collect some data. Take a look. Figure it out.
We wish you well. Sincerely, your pen pals, Daniel Van Kirk.
And Rory Van Scovel. And we're back!
Nice. Do you want a jingle there,
hurt
too?
My throat a little bit.
Don't
take
that.
a jingle. You think I won't take a jingle?
You want one there?
I want one right now while I'm talking. I want one. Where you can kind of not totally hear me saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I told her, and that's when I told her, no, you got it.
Yes or no?
Jingle over that.
Do you think Pat Sajak has done a podcast?
No.
I don't think so either.
Unless he has a Wheel of Fortune podcast.
Ooh.
What would they talk about? Could you imagine hosting Wheel of Fortune for, 40 years? Most of our lives.
Yeah.
40 years?
Uh-huh.
Definitely been hosting for 30 years. Definitely 30.
Easily.
30,
Longer
30
than that.
minimum.
35.
30 minimum.
35 minimum.
What do you think? How long you think? This is a fun one. How long's Pat Sajak been hosting Wheel of Fortune?
I'm going to go 38 years.
38?
Yeah. No.
I think
37. 36.
35.
That's final answer.
I'm going 35 because I actually think 35 is right.
Okay.
42 years.
Whoa.
Our whole lives.
Whoa.
More than our lives.
Yeah.
Daniel and I are only 29 years old.
Yeah, so
and
way
you can
more
see it
than
in the
our lives.
video. Obviously, we look great.
42 years.
How do you do that?
Would you want to go on Wheel of Fortune?
Yes, I would love it.
Wheel of Fortune.
But if somebody goes, Rory, we got a
Price is
hosting
Right,
gig, you're going to make a ton of money.
Jeopardy. No, I'm not hosting. You
Oh, you know
it.
what it is? I know. I would do it. You know what?
Well, which one?
You know why? Because they film a whole season in like 5 days.
Yeah, I know.
And then he goes, and then the rest of the year, I'm in Hawaii getting fucked up.
I was a PA on a game show, and we shot 20 episodes in 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Green.
Folks, get to that RoryScovel.com. See if it's been updated yet. But if it has, I got to tell you, I think it's going to look pretty fucking sharp.
What's there right now? I mean, this now.
This now? What's there now? This now. This time of now.
Are you promoting your new faces?
This time of
When'd you get new faces? 7? 8?
What?
Montreal.
2009.
Yeah. Is that what's up there? Come check me out at Montreal, New Faces.
Yeah, that's still there. Folks, try to get to Montreal if you can. Cross the border. Come see me. I don't know what's there now. There definitely there's options to click things. Tour dates. There's like maybe old.
There
things.
are dates.
There's dates that never happened. I think.
No, there's nothing.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Tour social.
And it's still promoting my Netflix special, which came out in 2017.
It was good though.
It was good.
Still watch it.
Well, I've got a new one. I've done other things.
I know.
Let's not forget I have an album called Dilation that I don't get paid for by the label anymore. That's right, folks. That's right. I don't get paid by the label anymore. Hi. Wait, do you have a plug?
Oh.
Where are you at? Oh.
What?
You and I.
What, has anything happened? We
Do
didn't
you
even
want
talk
it?
about it.
Do you want it?
I don't know. We should talk about it.
All right.
We might have something fun happening.
Well, no. What if that weekend? If you, I
Yeah, but we
said,
haven't
let me
even
know if you
talked
want
about
that
it.
weekend.
Yeah, but we haven't even talked about it.
About just basically doing that weekend.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll talk about it. Would
like
you want
we
to
are.
talk about Wednesday?
I feel like we are talking.
Can we talk about that?
What's Wednesday?
The other thing.
What's that? We don't know about
Later
that.
on.
Well, that we don't know about, but the other thing we do.
We don't know about that either.
I know about me. Okay, folks, I'm going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, August 11th to 13th. Tickets are on sale now. Go get them.
And then, so go to danielvankirk.com. Also, just get...
Daniel Van Kirk may or may not be there to do those shows that weekend.
Or one of them.
Because we have to talk about it.
Or one of them.
Might be there for one of them.
And then go to 3bestbakery.com to get some Hub City cookies.
We have to talk about that.
Did you eat yours?
I ate them. They're pretty good.
How many?
2 of them.
You stopped at 2? I'm proud of you.
I have to stop.
Did Jordan like them?
Oh, yeah. They loved them. Elliot loved them. Jordan loved it.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Go to 3bestbakery.com if you want to get some cookies. They might be sold out right now.
Yeah.
But wait.
And then just
coming back.
if you're willing to wait for around Christmas time, we're going to start doing the Rory Scovel cookies with 3 Best Bakery. And I'm not trying to compete. And it's not about competition.
What would they be?
Just
No, come on. Tell me a cookie. I feel like you got chocolate in yours.
Snickerdoodle. Probably fucking.
You're gonna do
Scovel Doodle. Probably Scovel Doodles.
You're gonna do. That's pretty good. Do you want to do that?
That is a good name. Now we got to see if it can happen.
Do you want a Scovel Doodle cookie?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Okay. You know what?
I'm talking. There's cookie companies that are talking to me. You want me to be honest? Keebler, the Keebler House. I got hit up by the Keebler House.
You did not. Is that real?
That or I got Ponners, but I think it's pretty real email address.
Damn it.
I'm sorry, it's 3 Best Bakery. Do they cook in a tree?
No.
Of course they don't.
They're in Arkansas.
There's no trees there. Everybody knows that. Hiya, big boys. That sounds a little aggressive. Hiya, big boys.
Hey, big boys.
I think we're normal
If
size.
we walked into a general store and the guy was like, "Hey, big boys," we'd be like, "We're good. We're looking for some."
I wouldn't
shade."
even say that. I would lean over to you and I go, "I told you they sold cheeseburgers here." Who talks like that in a place that
Hiya,
doesn't sell
big
cheese?
boys.
Hiya, big boys. Like, all right, well, I guess we'll take one of those indoor hot dogs. Folks, I'm never gonna let it go. Hi, I'll have an outdoor coffee, but 1 indoor hot dog, and I'll move tables when the time is right.
Do you like hot dogs?
Of course I love hot dogs.
When's the last time you had a hot dog?
I don't know. You know what's here's the thing about hot dogs. I'd overdo it.
You eat 3.
Like if we have a pack of hot dogs, I'm eating a hot dog every day at lunch for till they're gone.
Really?
It's so convenient.
And you put ketchup on yours, right?
Ketchup. I do relish. I do mustard. I do.
You've had a
Those
Chicago
things.
dog, right?
I think I have. I think when the first time I went to Chicago,
Okay.
and did I poop myself?
Okay.
Did
Well,
I poop myself?
We haven't
Did
been-
I poop myself?
I'm not your wife.
Did
for
I?
16 years.
Did
you
I
don't need to
poop
talk to me about this sort of thing.
Hi, you big boys. I lost my virginity when I was. This letter has it all right out of the gate.
Okay.
We're 2 sentences in. We're 1 sentence in. I lost my virginity when I was 17.
Nerd.
We listened to Bear vs. Shark. I don't know that band. Right now, you're in the best of hands. That's the name of the song. For our first time. Her parents were asleep in the other room, and I had to sneak through my girlfriend's house when I came and went. I loved that Bear vs. Shark album, but it immortalized it after that night, and it still means so much to me. Do either of you have something strongly tied to the time you lost your virginity? Maybe a scent, an album, a movie that was playing in the background. How old were you? Also, what's your favorite type of muffin? I think blueberry is the king. Fuck off to chocolate chip muffins. If I wanted chocolate, I'd eat a cupcake. Don't let cupcakes encroach on muffin territory. Joel. Obviously, we're going to work backwards. I agree. Chocolate chip muffins, get the fuck out of here. You're a cupcake and you know it. Go find some
Really?
frosting and get out of here.
It-
Get out of here.
There's poppy seed and blueberry, and then after that, what are we even doing?
I love blueberry. I love strawberry.
A
Had
strawberry muffin?
Had a vegan strawberry muffin this morning, and it was delicious.
Just say you live in L.A.
I do live in LA. Or if people want to message us, it's in LA.
There's a boxed muffin, that you buy and
Yeah. Wait,
And-
what is that? Like that you make?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And my mom would make these, and there was a lot of crumble on the top.
Betty
And-
Crocker?
Is that what it is?
I mean, probably.
And they're blueberry. Those are the greatest.
Yeah.
Those are the greatest muffins in the world. Yeah.
You know what I do sometimes that we did as a kid? You make the like Betty Crocker ones, you put in the thing, and you get the muffin, cut it in half, griddle it or not, but then butter and jelly, and you eat like a strawberry muffin, butter, jelly, and you eat that.
Well, if you're doing a strawberry muffin, what's your
Fuck!
jelly?
What?
What's your jelly if you already have a strawberry muffin?
What do you want it to be?
Okay.
Strawberry jam?
So let me ask you this:
Okay, I'll answer that.
bagel,
Bagel,
muffin,
muffin,
croissant,
croissant.
diner white toast. You have to pick one.
What is it going with? Because
Whatever
here's what
you
I gotta
want.
say.
Whatever you want.
When you go to a diner and they say they will griddle a muffin,
I've never heard griddle and muffin in a sentence together.
list.
Don't look over there.
No, I want teammates. Chad?
A griddle muffin?
Classic Chad. Doesn't know whose team to be on yet. He's still too new.
He doesn't even know we're recording.
I don't know if we are. I don't know if we've recorded any of these shows. Griddled muffin.
You
Do
guys
know,
griddle
do you know what I
muffins?
mean? Do you know what that means?
Listeners, do you griddle muffins?
They do. Do you know
Hear
what I'm
about
talking
griddle.
about?
That's
you know
got
what I'm talking
bacon and eggs on it. And you're like, make a little room for this muffin.
The flat, like Waffle House.
Hiya, boys. We're moving you over.
You take a muffin. You would love this. You take a muffin, you cut it in half, butter on it, and you put it on the griddle, and it like hardens up the sides, and then they serve it to you. It's this hot muffin that isn't it? It's truly the best way to eat a muffin.
This is COVID you, because you went way deep into griddle when you were staying at that house.
No.
They had a griddle, and you were hyped about it.
This is a thing. I can't believe you never had
Your
this.
whole life?
What?
You've been griddling muffins.
Yeah.
I've never
I don't
heard
do
of
it
this
every
ever.
time.
What happens? It just gets brown?
You would love it.
I'm not saying I wouldn't love it. I just
know.
don't know what you're talking about.
I know, but I don't know how to answer these questions, so I kind of
Is it
just going back
so
to what
it
I got.
browns because of the butter?
You'd love it. Yes.
I don't know if I would.
That's what I need. I need pushback. Yes, you would. It browns because of the butter, and then it's nice. It's got a crisp to it. You just said you liked the crumble on top because you liked the bite. You liked the crunch of it a little bit.
It's so sugary.
It's too sugary. I can't do the crumble on top.
So, back to this crafty table. You don't.
Also, the muffins
you don't
at
get to
Starbucks,
griddle your
like,
muffin.
Get the fuck out of here.
You don't get to griddle your muffin.
Okay.
You get muffin, bagel.
Why don't I get to griddle the muffin?
There isn't one there.
Because you don't know about
Muffin,
at a diner.
Griddle,
Okay.
bagel, croissant, diner white toast.
Diner white toast. Yeah.
Dude.
It just works with everything.
Diagonal or cut in half straight up?
Straight up and down the middle.
Yeah.
I don't do the diagonal.
And how much butter?
As much as I can possibly put in my body.
Yeah.
That will eventually kill me.
Oh,
And I look back and I go,
just
I
eating.
do it the same way again.
Do you eat your toast last
I don't know.
at a diner?
If I have dipping eggs,
Oh.
very over easy.
Who get mad at you for that?
People.
You know people say you can't call it. You know that would be
You
good.
grew up
How
calling
do
it
you-
dipping eggs.
how you want
and
those-
I said that to people,
how you
I
want
want
those
dipping
eggs?
eggs. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, don't act like you don't fucking.
That's how I want you forever. You better never change. They goes, what do you want, hon? What kind of eggs you want? I want you to go dipping.
dipping. And they go, all right, I get it. And
It's
I go,
easy.
do you guys ever griddle the muffins? And they go, show me someone who doesn't know what that is. And I then point across the table and I go,
You think
this piece of shit over here.
you really honestly think I'm the only person who hasn't heard of this?
Yes.
Yet the other people in this room have no idea what you're talking about.
Lissa, do you know what a griddled muffin is?
Oh, well, she's Jewish.
What does that mean?
They love baked goods.
Well, then if she knows it because she's Jewish, I mean, that means a high percentage of people
We don't
know what I'm talking
We
about.
don't have a lot of Jewish listeners. Have we ever gotten one letter about Hanukkah? How many Christmas letters have we gotten?
We make
Thousands.
People have to fill out a survey. And where are you coming from with this letter? I can't. Chad is acting like he doesn't know what it is, but he probably has one every fucking morning. I never even
You
heard
make
of
them?
it.
You
Chad,
make these.
You've never had one?
You make these.
I didn't even know griddle.
Oh,
was
get off the microphone.
I didn't know it was a
What
verb.
the fuck is happening?
Nothing
This
better
isn't a-
than nothing better than going, I don't even know what a griddle. Get out of here. All right, let's get into
Wait.
this. All
Are
right.
you making these?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have one, and you're gonna go.
When
He's
you're
right.
When your kitchen's done next
Did you
year.
like that Big Mac?
Huh?
Or Whopper? What did you
You
have?
heard what I
Did you have
said.
both?
What?
What did you have? A Whopper or a Big Mac in Atlanta?
Big Mac.
Did you like it?
It was fine.
Exactly.
What, you're saying that's what a griddle
Philly
muffin
cheesesteak.
is?
What did you think of it?
It was great.
Have I steered you wrong yet?
Okay, so, and I'm going to re-rack this so that you have to feel it. Next year, when your kitchen's finally done,
Fingers crossed.
I'm going to come over about 9:30 a.m. I want a griddled muffin and a jump in the pool.
What kind of a demand is this?
Say yes.
We'll see.
Okay.
That week is not good for us.
Okay.
I don't know bear versus shark. I lost my virginity when I was 20 years old. Loser. Is that a loser?
No,
I will
not at
say.
all.
I will say. I have looked back and wondered why it was 20. Certainly not for lack of.
Could it have been earlier?
Certainly not for a lack of wanting to have.
Could
sex.
it have been earlier?
Yes.
You could have had sex earlier in your life?
Yes.
What
Yes.
happened?
Catholic guilt, fear that I was going to go to hell,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I think just nervous to it's such
Sure.
I mean, once you do it, you go, oh, I got this. But before that, you're like, I can't jump over a ravine
No, but I
on a
just-
bicycle. Then you do it, and you're like, oh.
Any 20-year-old boy, man, whatever, going.
I was a boy, man.
Going. I got this now.
They call me a moy, maybe
No.
a ban. I got that. I can
a
do this.
band. I was 15.
Really fun. Really enjoyed it. Just to put it out there, I really enjoyed myself.
You
Really
had
had
a
a
good
great time. I had a really great time.
Was there any music on, or like, do you remember any?
That's what I was going to say. To this end, I don't think there was anything.
I don't think I was 15 on Easter Sunday.
Nerd.
Nerd.
What
That's
is the
rebel,
age where you
dude.
stop saying nerd? What's the age where you...
Oh, you can never.
Loser.
You don't ever have to stop.
That was 8. Loser.
That's scary.
It's looking back as an adult, it is so strange and kind of funny that we put so much weight on what age were you when you did this thing, as though
that indicates
there's any
anything about your
relevance
life.
to anything whatsoever. You know what I mean? When someone's like, I lost my virginity at this age, or at this age, or I'm just like, okay. Like when someone goes, I lost my virginity like in my 20s,
Sure.
there might be a part of me that goes, oh, you really waited. But then there's a part of me that's like, maybe that's good for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's funny that it's put in your mind because of like 80s movies where it's like, hey, you haven't gotten it with a girl yet? And the person's like, I'm 17. And like in reality, you're like, yeah, it kind of makes sense.
I have never had one of those conversations. I bet you haven't either.
About what?
Like razzing somebody because they're still a virgin?
Because they lost their virginity too late, or by the standards of too late?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's very kind of bizarre to me.
I remember making out
Certainly
with a girl.
wouldn't do it to bear versus shark. I mean, how do those two fight? You know what I mean? Is it on land or is it in water? And then obviously one has the advantage.
In junior high.
A shark definitely can't be on land, but a bear can sort of be in the water. I mean, they get in the rivers.
And the song Slam by Onyx was playing.
Folks, that's going to be pen pals for today.
We never tell anybody where to send us anything.
Did you lost your virginity to Slam by Onyx? I was about to say, because if you needed any hint that maybe you were a little too young, that's the fact that the ambiance
we were making
was
out.
Slam by Onyx.
We were making out.
Slam!
Dun, 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 dun. We're going to get sued.
Candles are lit, but it's Slam is playing. This is romantic, right? Slam!
I bet a lot of people lost their virginity to the Boomerang soundtrack.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wonder
What did you have music? No?
I don't even remember. I remember one time being very sexually active while The Usual Suspects played in the background. And the amount of intimacy that I've had while HGTV has been on in the background is immeasurable.
You can't get away from that because it's always on in the background.
Right.
I liken your place to sort of a waiting room at a doctor's office. Where
What do you mean?
Like HGTV is always there.
Yeah, a couple old magazines.
A couple of magazines are spread out that are also HGTV. They're also home and garden magazines.
I don't even think you love HGTV, if at all, nearly enough.
I'm not opposed to it. I just don't watch really anything.
You just put it on. HGTV has essentially become my sports center.
Yeah, I know.
You just put it on.
Yep.
Although.
And what do you do? Walk by the screen and you look over and you go, oh, I like what they did to that kitchen.
Oh, yeah, they're going to love
it.
it.
Keep walking.
Although I've really gotten into golf a lot lately.
Well, we could all say that. You know what I mean? We could all say that.
Yeah, I don't have much stuff. I hope everybody's time is always good. That's all
Was your situation where you had to sneak around, or was it like a situation where you could confidently just have sex and not have to worry that you're going to get caught?
The girl I was dating.
Because the parents thing in this
the family
letter
had
makes me nervous.
Huge house.
So you were fine.
And we were way up on like the third floor.
You're in the
loft.
West Wing. Martin Sheen was there.
So, yeah. Nobody was coming up there.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. Because it's just too much fun. If they're having sex, they're having sex.
20 years at college.
Was she also losing her virginity? Were you both losing your virginity?
I think so.
That's interesting. Because
I've
I
never
lost
thought
my
of
virginity
those.
to someone who had already lost their virginity.
Did they know they were taking your virginity?
No, I think I lied about it.
Oh.
And when I say I think I know, I did. I lied about it.
You're in college.
And I was
though.
like, of course I've had sex before. This is going to be great.
Then
it was over before it started.
Was it nighttime? Was it nighttime?
Yeah.
After the bars?
I didn't even know about daytime sex, dude.
Oh, daytime sex.
It was, I don't really remember when it was. I just remember that in the apartment, it was like, because I lived with a few guys on the soccer team, but like nobody was there. And I don't think they weren't there because they were out. I think they weren't there because it was I think school was out or something. And we still had the apartment, and I still lived there because I lived so close to my hometown. I think that was the deal.
Were you dating the girl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's me.
20. You were aged.
It felt, I gotta say, it truly was that moment
Were
where
you
I was
nervous?
like, oh, this is great. I was nervous, but then truly I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I've really wanted to do this for a long time. It's really great that I've started. And then you look back and you go, God, I had so many opportunities to really just do this. But I think had I had sex younger, I think I would have had irresponsible sex after that. I think having it at 20 was an age where I enough information, I've heard enough stories, I've heard enough about other people's experiences, where from that point on, I was able to have responsible sex.
Sure.
I feel that way anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously think that when I had it is too young of an age to be having sex.
Yeah.
There's no real like agency. Like you don't. I mean, you obviously, hopefully, you have it. You're doing it because you want to do it. But like, you aren't like. You don't really know what's.
You do want to hope people are doing it when they're ready to do it.
But sex I had later on in high school was very deliberate. Like what was very like, no, let's have sex. Like
yeah, because you were over the hurdle of what is this going to be, and now you're like, oh no, I know what this is, and I want to pursue this.
Losing my virginity feels less like having sex than the sex I had still later on in high school.
Well, we don't need to do fucking vocal warm ups if that's what you were just doing. Try to say all that again. The sex I had when sex is sexing of the sex.
I don't even remember.
Peter Piper picked a peck. That's what that
Can you
felt
do
like.
that?
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Pecker.
No, you bailed.
Peckers.
You
I
could've
keep
done
saying
it.
peckers.
Peter
dude.
Piper picked a peck of
That's
pickled
where my
peppers.
brain's at. I keep saying
Peter Piper
fucking
picked.
pickled peckers.
Okay.
I pickled my pecker.
Okay.
All right, folks. This has been one hell of an episode. Joel, thanks for opening up to a 17. That feels like
That's in the wheel. That's in the
right in it. That's a fastball down the middle. I feel like 17. I'm gonna check out Bear vs. Shark now, and I'm gonna listen to that album. And a lot of my respect for you is gonna be based on what I think of that song. Good for you, sneaking around the house like a little deviant. I hope you guys had some candles, and I hope Daniel now has a tick where he needs a Kevin Spacey movie to be playing. In the background
that would be the worst. Why would you? That was the worst
Because
pick of
Usual
all.
Suspects.
All the people you could have said. You could have done one of the Baldwins,
I wouldn't do
Benicio
that.
del Toro's.
No,
There's
No.
so many. Gabriel Byrne.
Kevin Spacey was in it.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
All right.
The smell, by the way, a lot of sun-ripened raspberry.
You can say David Doff Coolwater. You don't have to.
Who's that?
All right. Joel, good for you. Thanks for this letter. Kind of bizarre that I don't know that we've really laid into this topic on this show. Maybe we have. I don't remember.
It's had to have come up.
It seems bizarre, but the way that you did it is great. So thank you for this letter, and thanks for sharing with us. And we're going to check out that album. And you're fucking right about chocolate chip cupcakes. Get the fuck out of the muffin category. And also, Joel, hit me back. Let me know if you know about all listeners. Let us know if you know about griddled muffins. Maybe Adam, the Shan Man, wants to put together some kind of poll. We haven't done a poll in a long time. So maybe there's a poll about if people know about griddled muffins. And if you don't know about them, fucking try them. They're amazing. I'm going to make Daniel
I can't
do
wait.
it. We wish you well. Sincerely, your pen pals, Rory Scovel.
And Daniel Van Kirk. Check.
Guys, one of these days, Chad's going to know the buttons, and we're going to fucking fly. After that, we're going to fly.